Yeah, it was all about like clear music, no copyright and all that stuff, like it has to be, because it was also streaming on TV, on French television, and it was really big. And so they said like it's really important to play clear music. And yeah, I'll be really honest, I didn't play all that kind of stuff.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Stance Elements. Today's show is brought to you by One of 100. Check out their high quality collection at weareoneof100.co.uk, and at checkout use the code STANCE15 for 15% off your total order. That's right, you get 15% off your order when you use the code STANCE15 at checkout. Now, without further ado, it's such a pleasure to be talking to this man right here. I've got Nobunaga with me all the way from the Netherlands. What's up, bro? It's really good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, man. And nice having me here, bro.
I mean, look, we're just going to kick this off with a bang. You recently made a mixtape for us, and I have to tell you right now, I would probably say it's one of the best breaking mixes that have come into the scene in the last maybe 10 years.
Oh, really?
That's from me. Maybe not everyone agrees with me, but after hearing a lot of music in the scene over the last while, a lot of mixtapes, yours definitely ranks up there. I would have to say.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I remember you were saying in the promotion that it's one of your most mature mixes that you've made, and the variety of music that you've made is it's vast. It's much wider than it has been in your other mixes. So can you tell us about the process of you making that mix for us?
The funny thing is, like, I spoke with Daniel, I think at Freestyle Session 2019. We spoke about it to do a mix. He's like, yo, can we do something with a mix? I said, yeah, of course. And then the years come, and then the COVID whole thing started. So then we talked about like last year or something, end of last year. And then I said to him, yo, can we still do the mix or something? Like the idea. I said, oh yeah, of course. So, but then I already made a certain selection for a mixtape, and it was not really for Stan, but I already had like a selection. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna choose this stuff and make it more better by selection, and I'm gonna use it for Stans. So the mix is about my vibe / the mood where I'm in right now, because I like a lot of I like a lot of music, different stuff, different vibes, and that's what I wanted to put in this mixtape. And I even end with a soul track. It's one of my favorites that I found recently, like after 2 years ago, I think. And I like music, man, and that's what I wanted to put in the mix.
But then here's the thing, like, it's like when you listen to the mix, it's almost like you're there at a live event. It's almost like a live recording in and of itself. But are there certain things that you look for at first when you're making a mixtape like that? Because if you think about it, there are so many DJs that just think, oh, I'll just put a bunch of hip hop tracks there together and then I'll call it a breaking mix. But it sounds like it's a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, man, because I always make a selection first, and then I start to find the nice transitions. So that takes the most time. In the last couple of years, I do this a lot. When I make mixtapes, it doesn't matter what kind of mixtapes, but it's like I make the selection, and then I find the nice pieces where to transitions, or where to mix, because I like to mix, and you heard it in the mixtape. I don't like to do like a scratch and then to another song that most DJs do. I like to tell a story, from my perspective with music, what I like and how you can mix different styles. And yeah, that's what I like, man.
And is there a particular tempo that you look for? Is there a range that you try to keep within?
No, I like to start, because when I was younger, I started playing music faster. And when you get older, you start to listen and feeling more, like grooving more. Like, I don't know, it's like your ear is going to change. You get more like, you grow up, you listen different. And when I start a mix, I always want to start around 100, maybe 100, 101, and then I can go up to whatever, And even my last song, I know it's fast. It's like 140 BPM or something, but it's more like the listening part. You know, you don't have to. I know 140 is fast, but it's like I like to build. You know, and even yeah, that's like I said, it's my story in music. So, or even the type of drums, the beats, I really check with what's nice, what fits. You know, even the mix. Yeah.
And are you seeing any trends in the scene in terms of the music we listen to, where the inspiration or where the sources are? Because we go through these cycles of like listening to the classics and listening to 90s hip hop and listening to some experimental, and then we bring it back to the funk, and then there's more hip hop. Like, what sort of trend do you think we're in right now?
I think we go back. I hope, but I also feel it and I think it, and I hear it a little bit more. Like even like Flag and Lean, they play more like the classic or like I would say organic music. You know, not produced stuff or whatever, just like original stuff from the 70s and 60s, even. You know, like maybe 80s, but you hear the old stuff. That's what we like, and also that's the stuff that inspired me a lot. And of course, people hear me like when I play like kind of beats or electronic music. Of course, I still love that, but I think the circle is going back to the original stuff. So that's a really nice thing, man.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like when we have our conversations, we can hear your appreciation for all those genres of music, but
Hmm.
there'll be some people that will look on YouTube and they'll be really ignorant and think, oh, it's just all electronic music from Nobunaga and it's all pots and pans music. And like you've definitely matured in your music over the last 10 years or so, I would say.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, you know, it's like I said, you get older, your ears gonna, I don't know, it's like it's growing up, you know. Of course, I like hard breaks. I still dig them. uh I like I said, I have breaks that I really want to play, but I think it's too much, you know, the pots and pans. But for me, it's that's the real deal, man. That's the real breaks from in you know my vision.
That makes
Yeah,
sense,
man.
man. And there's going to be a lot of up and comers that are going to look to you for inspiration. They're going to look to you. They're going to see your track selection, the variety of music that you play. They're probably going to copy it because usually when people learn for the first time, they copy first and then they twist things and then they innovate. So, just the last thing I'll ask you about this is what advice would you give to any up and comers that want to find their style and find what music they're into and to share it with the rest of the community?
Okay, that's a good question, because a lot of people always think, oh, I'm in a certain like electronic music, or I grew up to this or that kind of stuff. Because I know in the scene people put you in boxes, they do that, you know. But like yeah, for me it's like I grew up to like old music from my dad. You know, when I was young, I listened to all that stuff. So my influence was always old music, like, or yeah, original stuff. I grew up to James Brown, Prince, and Michael, and Brazilian stuff. But you know, it for me, when I started breaking, I heard all the classics. Even my teacher showed me a lot of classics. So from there, it was always the basic. It's the classics, or the funk, or the soul, the jazz, the Brazilian boogie, whatever. So that kind of stuff, yeah, helped me a lot. And yeah, shaped my sound. Of course, I like people think like, okay, that's a little bit strange because you play a lot of electronic music or whatever. Yeah, I know I did, and I experienced a lot of experiment a lot. But yeah, it's like, you know, when you get older, your taste and it comes, you know. So I would say it's a good thing to start with the classics, know where they comes from, who are the drummers, who are the bands, and the producers, the labels. So yeah, I did all that. I did the homework too. So it took me a lot of years. Like I started DJing in 2004, 5, and I would say like I get a little bit name in the scene. It was around like 2010, 11. So it takes many years, you know. Yeah. So like I said, just go for the just start with the old stuff, and from there you're gonna, yeah, you create your own style, the stuff that you like, your influence.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
talk about your inspirations from older music, one of the main concerns that people will share is, will the music that b-boys and b-girls listen to and dance to, will that same energy or will that same type of music be played in the Olympics? Will they be played in those Olympic type events? You were at the WDSF event in Paris last year. You were one of the main guys on the ones and twos over there. Just quickly, what was your experience at that event? Were there any restrictions that you had in the music? And is there anything that people need to know about that event that maybe just isn't common knowledge?
Yeah, there were a lot of restrictions. Like I had a meeting the day before with all the guys from the team, or even the other DJ One Up was there too. I played the whole day with him. But the best part was they said the qualifier you can play whatever. So me and One Up, we played everything from what we liked, you know, from whatever, the classics to hip hop, whatever. So we played during the day of the qualifier was really dope. But then in the final of the top, I think it was top 16, right? I can remember top 16 or top 8.
I think it was the
Yeah, it
top
was.
eight.
Oh, top 8. Yeah, it was all about like clear music, no copyright, and all that stuff. You know, like it has to be, because it was also streaming on TV on French television. And it was really big, and so they said like it's really important to play clear music. And yeah, I'll be really honest, I didn't play all that kind of stuff because I like to take some risk, you know. And even I played some rare groove kind of stuff, like unknown breaks, and I've tried to play a little bit of my own stuff. I played even one or two tracks from Lean and Flag, but I tried to find the balance for that, you know. So I don't want to play. Yeah, it's important to have it. Like, of course, I don't want to have problems with them, and I don't want that they have problems with companies or labels. But you know, it was still streaming and still online, and there's no like songs that they recognize. So I'm good with that. So I was happy, and the experience was nice, of course.
So what
Yeah.
do you think we can do at events to give you more freedom in your music choice? Because it seems like there's more copyright free music coming out, there's more producers in the scene making music. There's probably not a lot of it you can use that matches your vibe and matches the type of sound that you're looking for. So what do you think is the next step moving forward to help create that more authentic sound at these events where you need to be careful with your music choice?
I'll be honest, I think it's good that if the things go, yeah, we go to the Olympics. But I mean, when the Olympics want to do stuff like from our culture, I think it's really important that they're going to use also our traditional music. Of course, you can produce, and it's nice. And there's a lot of producers and bands out there, but I think it's really important. For example, there's a budget, I guess, that they buy certain copyrights for music for that event. You know, that's, I know it's possible, and there are rules in the music industry. So I think stuff from the 70s is easier to get and to pay for certain labels. Yeah, so I think that's the, I hope that will be the solution for the scene, you know. Like if we all gonna go for like produce music and whatever electronic, or I don't know, man. It's like, I think to keep the culture, I think it's important to play the certain classics or the organic music, the b-boy music, the breaking music.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And there are a lot of people out there that just think it's as easy as, oh, you just have to buy all the copyrights. Oh, it's just easy. You just have to buy thousands and thousands of them. Every event should be doing it. But of course, not every event has the budget for it, which is why there's more music coming from within the community. You know, we've got
Yeah.
guys like Lean Rock who have been on it for years and years and years making
Hmm.
music for the Red Bull BC1, but it's also used at loads of other events as well. Just
Yeah.
quickly, just one of the last things I want to ask you, what is your thoughts on the music that's coming from the scene? Do you think it matches the vibes that we usually have in our music? Are there a lot of producers that are maybe way off and they're not even making music anymore? Like what are your thoughts on a lot of the music you're hearing from the scene?
My thoughts, yeah, that's a hard question. It's like also a taste, you know, like every DJ has a certain taste and style, what they like to play. And I don't like to judge these DJs or what they produce. But if there is like events with live streams, of course, it's people gonna play a certain sound, you know, and you know it's you recognize it. But when the events are free, like you can play whatever, and the DJ still plays the clear copyright music, I think and I feel like, nah, man, it's not necessary now. Why you want to do that, you know? Like I've seen a lot of events, like big events or like even small, whatever. I still hear certain Red Bull songs, and I'm like, yeah, these songs were made for Red Bull, and they were only used by Red Bull, but still people played in other events. And I understand it's maybe they it's nice, but you know, it's like important to keep the tradition, you know.
That makes sense. Like every music has its place. As you're
Yep.
saying, like if you can use any music that you want, but you're going for the copyright free music, you might be almost like taking people away from
Yeah.
what they could get from a vibe.
Yeah, that's important. You know, to understand the difference. Like, okay, for example, like last year I played also, I think Unbreakable, was it? Yeah, Unbreakable, and they said to me, "You can play whatever, man. You're free." And then when you hear this, when you hear you're free, it's like, yes, it gives you, you know, can play whatever, you know. And all the battles were, yeah, were really nice, good vibes. People really loved it. Even when you play a certain classic like hip hop, whatever, you know, it comes like people feel it, you know. And I think also people are really like over it when you hear certain songs. Like, okay, it's in every final or it's in every semi-final. You hear this track, the the copyright stuff. I'm like, yo, when you're free to play whatever, do it. You know?
That makes a lot of sense. So the last thing I want to ask you, what music are you listening to right now, or are there any particular artists, any particular albums that you think dancers should be listening to? Maybe it's not for the cipher, maybe it isn't for the event themselves, but if you just think there's music that you're listening to that dancers should really check out, what sort of music do you think?
Yeah, that's a different thing. You know, for me, it's like why when I listen to music, it's like other stuff. Like I don't listen to it to dance to. It's more like I really enjoy. For example, the last couple of years, I'm really into like 70 Brazilian music, even jazz, like much deeper in jazz fusion. But you know, 70 stuff inspires me a lot. And the funny thing is, how deeper you're in there, how more samples you hear, the original stuff from certain producers. I'm like, oh shit, it's from this, you know. But it's not about that. But it's like, yeah, I'm really in the old stuff. Of course, there's a lot of new music, but yeah, for practicing, because sometimes like during COVID I didn't practice that much, but when I practice, I still like to practice to like certain breaks or certain loops, but just give you a certain energy, you know. But yeah, for listening, I would say like, yeah, 70s music, man. Could be everything is from 70s, because 70s is a really beautiful year, and a lot of people were experimenting, and I would say original organic music, people playing instruments. Now it's all buttons, and you hear it, and you know, it's like this. So I'm really liking old stuff.
So sounds like you're saying every dancer should just listen to 70s music because you're going to get inspired heavily regardless of
Yeah,
whether it's jazz or funk.
whatever. Even like orchestra music or soundtracks from yeah, from the 70s, 80s, whatever, man. There's so much music. So yeah, man, and be open-minded. And of course, I understand a lot of people from the breaking scene listen to yeah, funk, hip hop, 90s boom bap, all this kind of stuff and classics. But you know, when I was younger with my crew, we practiced to everything. We listened to house, to broken beats, drum and bass. Everything was in the practice room. You know, like we played everything. So I think it's a good thing to practice to all music, man. Experience it.
That's amazing, bro. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to be talking to you, and I really hope to see you soon, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for this interview.